HarperCollins presents The Heart-Shaped Tin, Love, Loss and Kitchen Objects, written and read by B. Wilson. Preface: The Heart-Shaped Tin. Objects can have about them a glow of significance, sending sparks of their own into the imagination of the beholder. Susan M. Pierce, 1995. I have long felt that kitchen objects can have a life of their own. Even so, I found this eerie. One August day in 2020, I was going to fetch clothes out of the washing machine when suddenly a cake tin fell at my feet with a loud clang. It wasn't just any cake tin. It was the heart-shaped tin I had used to bake my own wedding cake. I wouldn't have thought much of it, except that it was only 2 months since my husband had left me, out of the blue. Nearly 23 years ago, this giant metal heart had been brand new. My husband-to-be told me he liked fruitcake but hated glacé cherries. For our wedding, I decided to bake him a rich, dark fruitcake with no cherries and chopped up dried apricots to take their place. There are photos of us cutting the cake together, looking blissfully happy. We would soon be on our way to Venice for our honeymoon. All these years I kept the tin. We had 3 children, and sometimes I used it to bake their birthday cakes. Shiny brown hearts of chocolate cake smothered in ganache. We stored it tucked away on the bottom of a dresser in my hallway, where it was slowly rusting. I kept it there because it was too vast to fit in any of the kitchen cupboards. To give it away would have been unthinkable. It was a keepsake of our love. At the back of my mind, I'd imagined that one day I would use the tin to bake an anniversary cake. In one of her books, the food writer Ruth Reichel gives a recipe for the giant chocolate cake she made to celebrate her husband Michael's birthday the first year that she knew him. A cake so colossal it took 4 men to help her lift it to the car. Reichel calls it simply big chocolate cake. I had a vague idea that this would be the cake I'd bake for our 25th anniversary. We were getting closer to this moment. After we'd been married for about 10 years, he made the same joke every year on our anniversary. 11 long years, he would say in an affectionate way. 12 long years. It made me feel safe when he joked like this, because surely no one would make that remark if they really thought the years were long. I told people how lucky we were, and how we never argued. As symbols go, a heart-shaped cake tin, bought for a wedding, is not exactly subtle. It's Disney-fied romance, fashioned into a shiny object. I was only 19 when we met, and 23 when we married. He was 7 years older, and was one of my college teachers, which didn't seem to matter at the time. One morning in June 2020, sitting on an ordinary park bench, drinking a cup of coffee, he said he didn't love me anymore. Not like that. He never elaborated what like that meant. It didn't seem real. I thought that divorce was something that happened to other people. My parents, for example, who split up when I was 14. At the time, this was the biggest shock of my life. One New Year's Day, my father announced over lunch that his resolution was not to live with our mother anymore. I was the one who had casually asked whether anyone had any resolutions. For years, I felt I had caused him to leave with my question. My purchase of the heart-shaped tin suggests I was urgently searching for a happy ever after, a sweet and unbroken heart. Of all my ex-husband's excellent qualities, one of his greatest was, or so it seemed to me, that he was so steadfast. He never gave me a moment's doubt about his loyalty. The morning of the day he left, he brought me a cup of tea and bed, just as he always did, and I thanked him with real gratitude, just as I always did. When the tin clattered loudly to the ground, it echoed my own shock. Certain kitchen objects become loaded with meaning in a way that we're not fully in control of. You can't predict which will be the utensils you get attached to. The favourite mug. The spoon that feels just right in your hand.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?